Lorenzo woke up that morning with the usual feeling of incompleteness, the same daily rituals, the alarm clock calling him too early, the noise of the cars, the horns echoing in the narrow streets of Rome. The coffee was already waiting for him hot at the bar, a ristretto espresso that never seemed enough to face the day. The same route, the same thoughts that tormented him. That day, however, something different awaited him. Curious to find out what will change for Lorenzo? Stay with us and don't miss the rest of his story. The Pantheon project continued to occupy most of his time and energy. It was a work of historical importance. His name would be linked to that restoration for decades, perhaps centuries. But there was a restlessness that he could not ignore. The ancient stones of the Pantheon, so solid and imposing, seemed to reveal their vulnerability to Lorenzo. Like those ancient marbles, he too felt consumed by time and expectations. Each restoration, each meeting with colleagues and scholars seemed to reveal a void within himself, a void that success could not fill. If you recognize yourself in Lorenzo's thoughts, subscribe to the channel and stay with us for more reflections on how to deal with inner restlessness. That day, while he was walking aimlessly, something attracted him to a small Zen monastery hidden between two buildings. It was as if that place had been waiting for his arrival for years. Without thinking too much, Lorenzo entered, driven by a force he could not explain. The air was calm. The frenzy of the city seemed to stop at the entrance of that small temple. The contrast with the outside world was palpable, as if he had crossed an invisible threshold to another time, another reality. Maestro Giacomo was there, sitting quietly on a wooden bench. Lorenzo immediately felt welcomed, as if the old man already knew everything about him. The meeting with Giacomo was not just a casual event, but the catalyst for a profound change. Giacomo, with his silent wisdom, did not try to teach or solve Lorenzo's problems. On the contrary, he slowly guided him towards a truth that he had to discover on his own. In the days and weeks that followed, Lorenzo returned to the monastery more and more often, finding refuge in that small space of quiet in the heart of Rome. Each visit was a step toward a greater inner awakening. At first, Lorenzo sought answers, as he did with every project he tackled. He wanted to understand, analyze, define. But Giacomo kept telling him that there was nothing to understand, except the experience of the present moment itself. There were no solutions, no definitive answers. There was only the here and now. Have you ever experienced a moment of complete awareness? Tell us about it in the comments. One evening, after a long day at the construction site, Lorenzo found himself walking along the Tiber, the city lights reflecting on the calm waters. He thought about Giacomo's words, about how his concept of identity was tied to what he did, not what he was. That reflection deepened as he watched the river flow slowly, carrying with it everything it encountered. Lorenzo understood that, like the Tiber, his life was in constant motion. Every moment passed, carrying with it his experiences, emotions, thoughts. Yet throughout his life, he had tried to hold on to it all, to define who he was through his works. One night, while he was finishing some papers for the restoration, Lorenzo received an unexpected phone call. It was his ex-partner, Anna, with whom he had broken up a few years earlier. Their relationship had been intense but complex, full of passion, but also of misunderstandings. Anna was the opposite of Lorenzo, creative, impulsive, always looking for new adventures. Their relationship had cracked precisely because Lorenzo felt suffocated by her constant desire for change, while he sought stability. Anna's call took him by surprise, but her words left him breathless. Anna revealed to him that she was ill and had only a few months to live. The news hit him like a bolt of lightning, shaking him to his core. The thought of death, sudden and cruel, made him reconsider everything. Everything he thought was important began to crumble in the face of the inevitability of the end. How could he continue to focus on projects and successes when everything was so fragile? The next day, he went to the monastery with a heavy heart. He told Giacomo what had happened, seeking comfort. The master, with his usual calm, told him, "Death is nothing but another form of life. It is the natural fulfillment of all that exists. It is not an end, but a transformation. Just like the restoration of the Pantheon, everything in life requires care and attention, but in the end, even the greatest monuments must give in to time. Let's think together. How can we accept life as it is without fearing change? Share your opinion in the comments. Those words struck him deeply. Lorenzo began to see life in a different way. His fears and worries, which once seemed enormous, began to lose importance. He understood that living was not about accumulating successes or avoiding death, but about embracing each moment with awareness and acceptance. It was no longer the time to chase expectations, but to find peace in what was, in the here and now. In the days that followed, Lorenzo went to visit Anna. The meeting was full of emotion, but also of incredible serenity. They didn't talk much about the past, nor about the illness. They simply sat together, enjoying each other's company, without the need to fill the silence with words. In that moment, Lorenzo realized that, despite everything, the love he had felt for Anna was still present, unchangeable, like a thin thread that connected them beyond time and circumstances. As the weeks passed, Lorenzo realized that Anna wasn't the only one who was in a transformation. He was changing too, slowly but surely. The monastery continued to be a place of refuge and discovery, but Lorenzo had learned that true peace wasn't found in a physical place, but within himself. Whenever he felt lost or confused, he simply stopped, took a deep breath, and remembered Giacomo's words. Don't try to define who you are. Live each moment and let life show you the way. The real journey is within. Subscribe to the channel for more stories that explore the path to mindfulness. Lorenzo returned to the Pantheon with a new awareness. He was no longer obsessed with the idea of leaving a mark on history, nor with the idea of building something that would last forever. Instead, he began to see his work as an act of presence, a way to be fully in the moment, without worrying about the future or the past. Every stone he touched, every restoration he completed, became a sacred experience, an opportunity to live his life with full awareness. Rome, with its ancient monuments and its frenetic life, continued to flow around him, but Lorenzo had found a new rhythm, a slower rhythm, more aware, more in tune with his true essence. He was no longer looking for answers. He did not need to define himself or understand everything. He just needed to live, one breath at a time, one step after another, in harmony with the world around him. Now it's your turn. How can you bring more awareness into your daily life? Leave a comment and share your thoughts. And so, Lorenzo continued to walk the streets of Rome, no longer searching for who he was, but simply enjoying being alive. Here, now. Life is a gift to be lived moment by moment. Keep following our channel for more stories of awareness and awakening.